Oh, I think I've been muted. Sorry, guys. Forgive me because this is my first time going live by myself. I want to say welcome to every body who is here on the stream with me. And I will bring up my chat just so I'm not missing any chats. But so excited for you guys to be here with me today. You guys may have seen me on West Coast's channel. Can't hear me, Kelly? Oh no, should be. Can you hear me? Let me know if you can hear me. You still can't hear me. Still can't hear me, guys? You gotta let me know because I don't. It says that my mic is unmuted, but I don't know. I hope y'all guys can hear me. Hold on, let me try to see something. Let me pull up. I'm gonna pull up my own live stream, see if I can hear myself. Okay, you can hear me. What's up, Quita? And Quita, tell me, am I pronouncing it right? Is it? Do you want me to just? Is it Quita? Is it Quetta? Because I do not want to disrespect you by pronouncing your name wrong. Okay. What's up, Josh Mo? Glad to see you guys. My two faves in the building today. Just now getting started, they were saying that Kelly was saying she couldn't hear me, but I think you guys can hear me now. So it's Quetta, the second pronounce, I think. Okay, well, awesome. Glad to have you guys on here today. Please like, share, and subscribe this video, please, please, please. As you guys know, you probably heard me on Vash Lombardi. You probably heard me as you guys have seen through this week, we've been going live with West Coast. Shout out to West Coast, who is the big brother in this game. Probably heard me call in the Boss Cowboy show and Law Nation show. So shout out to all those wonderful content creators because each of them really inspired me to do my own channel. And I know it's been a long time coming for us to get this channel going. I'll just be a little bit transparent and in the sense that we couldn't get it going sooner because we did not have the technology. I had a really, really old MacBook Pro that like just wasn't gonna be able to properly um, do the streaming database and things like that I needed. But now we have better equipment, so now we are able to live stream, and I'm so excited to be here with you guys. Um, as I said, if you feel, please like, share, and subscribe to this content. Thank you, Jasmine. I really appreciate it, you guys, and I've really been excited going live on West Coast channel. Just getting the love from everybody, so I really, really appreciate it. Um, and also, if you guys want to donate to the channel so that we can grow and we can get our mic our microphone like our our professional podcast microphone, that would be great. And also I really am trying to do my best to be able to go out to training camp this summer in July. So anything helps. $1, $2, 50 cents, it does not matter. I really appreciate you guys for being on here with me today. And so as you guys can see, this is going to be my live reaction to the Mike McCarthy press conference that was held in Phoenix, Arizona, at the NFL owners meeting. There is a lot of excuse me, guys. There is a lot of good nuggets in this interview. Very important. Um, very important. I've listened to it one time through, but that was like a couple of days ago. So I may have new thoughts. You guys can interact with me in the chat and also let me know what you think. Yes, Quetta, it's my Cash App is here on the screen. Can you see it? The Lee Law Firm is my Cash App. Because if you guys don't know, I'm a podcaster by night, but or a content creator by night, but I'm a lawyer by day. So um, my Cash App is tied to my law firm because I allow my clients to pay me through Cash App because we're in the 21st century. Oh no, it's okay, Quita, no problem. But yeah, so please donate, guys, to my Cash App, to help get this going, and it would be greatly appreciated. So without further ado, I think, um, well, first of all, I don't even think I asked, how's everybody doing? Everybody having a good, beautiful Saturday. It's noon. It's beautiful outside. Where are you guys from? Y'all can let me know. I am from, I'm actually from Dallas. I live in San Antonio now, but I'm actually in Dallas right now. So I pretty much go between cities because my family's in Dallas and I represent clients in Dallas. So I'm either in Dallas or I'm in San Antonio. And San Antonio is where I went to school. And I just started to stay out there from New Jersey. Okay, Jasmine, that's what's up. How's the weather over there? Okay, born in Texas but raised in Tuskegee. Okay. Uh, Quetta, remind me, Tuskegee is in where? I don't want to. I feel like the Carolinas, but I could be dead wrong. Or like up in the New York area, but Bama. Oh yeah, I was way off. I was way, 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 way off. That's my fault. I'm sorry, but that is awesome. How's the weather over there today, guys? Cool. It's raining. Okay. Yeah, we have, it's beautiful outside today and it's pretty much neutral weather. Um yeah, it's hilarious because I literally said I thought it was up north. It's literally in Alabama. I don't know why I didn't think that because I'm like, it's a HBCU and I'm like, there's likely no HBCUs up north. But well, no, there is some HBCUs up north. That I'm lying on that too. But anyway, let me not keep embarrassing myself by not knowing the locations of certain places. But yeah, we'll go ahead and get into the press conference. I will be pausing. Um, yeah, I'll be pausing. As I get thoughts. Because as I said, this is a live reaction. So I'm reacting to it live and I'm just going to pretty much freestyle my thoughts to you guys as I hear what is being said. And we're going to go ahead and test out the video here. And you guys will have to, let me smallen this. You guys will have to let me know if you can hear it. I have to bring this up. Yeah. Sorry guys. Gotta make sure have to have multiple windows up here. I'm being my own producer today. Okay, let's see. Okay, we got it here. So I'm gonna play the video, the audio. I can't share my screen with you guys because that'll bring up some copyright issues. But we're gonna go ahead and get into it. And let me make sure you guys can just see me on the screen, right? Y'all can't see any videos or anything like that. Y'all let me know. Let me know. I don't think y'all should be able to see any. Right. Okay. Thank you, Quetta. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and play the audio. It's gonna mute me while the audio is playing. You guys just let me know. Please let me know if you can hear it or not. Okay. Let me know if you guys can hear it. I'm gonna play the audio in one, two, three, go. Could y'all hear that? Could y'all hear that audio? Yeah, okay. Okay, let me try. Okay, I wonder why you guys aren't able to hear it. I thought this might be an issue. Let me see. I might have to do something. Maybe I'm gonna have to share my screen. Let's see. Okay. I apologize, guys. I'm trying to figure this out while we hate that there's some dead time here. But I'm trying to see why I'm not able to hear it. Or why you guys, I can hear it, but why you guys aren't able to hear it. Let me go ahead and let's see. Yeah, okay, you know what? That's what I'll have to do. Share tab audio. Let's see if we can build this plane while we're in the air. Okay, you guys, clearly y'all can see the screen here, but I'm gonna have to not have the actual video going. Let me see if I can get it going in the background. Let's see. Oh, let me share it again. So we need to share it, share it. You guys can see this video, right? Y'all can see the video in the background. I'm trying to fix it to where y'all can't see it so that we can just listen to the audio together. Okay. Yeah, I have to fix it to where we can only see the audio. Let me see. Huh. I'm just changing my frame for you guys. Oh man, let's see. There's an only way. What's good, Cole? Shout out to Cole Cowboy in the building. We're trying to figure out here how to get my stream playing in the background, but where you can't see it because I don't want my video getting taken down because copyright issues. So y'all gonna have to bear with me. Like I said, this is my first time doing this, so I'm trying to figure out how to get this thing going. I think I might be able to. Let's see here. And if you guys will, I will actually be on Cole's channel later today. I believe around 7 East. So you guys can check us out over there as well. So you guys are going to get 2 live shows today. I may just have to end up just telling y'all what's said instead of having the audio play. Uh, I'm sorry if I'm not able to do it because I don't want to, like I said, I don't want to get copyrighted. And I don't really know how to, if I just have it playing. You know what? I think I could just possibly, I think I know what I need to do. Where is my live? Sorry, I'm trying to find my dang live stream. Okay, here it goes. I think I can play it and then literally play it and just have it, or y'all can literally just see my laptop screen in the background. Let me see if that works. Y'all have to let me know if y'all can.
Of the football operations, and I feel we have an excellent locker room to build off of, and these guys are a great fit for us, both.
When you talk about Cooks, he's been to a lot of different schemes.
Can y'all
Is that
see
scheme
the?
friendly, quarterback
Can y'all
friendly, a
see
guy that
the
can jump
screen?
into a
Can y'all
different
hear
place
me?
and still have the same success?
No, I think it's a great point. I think it definitely shows his versatility, and I think anytime you.
Okay, this is going to sound.
Could y'all hear that? Or no? Okay, you can hear it now. Yeah, see, it's sharing the audio, but I just don't want the video in the I do not want the video in the stream. I don't know how to get it to just play in the background. But I might just have to end up, like I said, guys, because I know for sure we cannot play it or it will get flagged. I mean, y'all can't see it. We can just listen to the audio. I might have should have just downloaded the audio before and did that. But I don't even know. Let's see here. I know there's a way to do this, but I might just have to. I'm gonna stop sharing. I think what I'm gonna have to do, guys, is yeah, I know they don't play. I think they absolutely do not play Cole, so that's why I'm like I cannot have it showing in the background. I think what I'm gonna have to do, guys, is just I'm gonna have to play it to where I can hear it, and I'm sorry about it. So y'all may not be able to hear it, but I'm just gonna react. I'm just gonna basically tell y'all what Mike McCarthy. Yeah, they're worse. They're worse. I know. I'm just gonna have Mike McCarthy. I'm gonna listen to what he says, and then I'll just kind of comment on it. I'm gonna comment on it in the background and. So it won't be dead silent. I'm just gonna use another phone or iPad. You know what? I could do it on my phone, but I'm gonna have to. It may be the hood version of it, but I might could do it on my phone. That's a good idea, J Money. Shout out to J Money in the chat. Let me see if I can do it this way. And y'all let me know if y'all can hear it when I play it. Let's, let's let's test it out. Can y'all hear it? Let me take my. I have background.
What you're making those sort of picks or messages that Well, I think that the message it sends to the locker room is just how much we believe in the locker room. I mean, obviously, they're two very high quality veterans. I think their play clearly speaks for themselves. I think anybody that's followed Grant and Stephon or just from pure football ability and production, they're definitely excited about it. But the type of people they are, you can see it immediately just when they came in to sign their contracts.
Okay, then that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna play it. I'm gonna play it from my cell phone.
So real excited the way they fit into our locker room.
All right, cool. Thank you. I'm gonna play it from my cell phone. Okay, awesome. Yeah, I'm gonna play it from my cell phone, guys, and then I'm gonna go ahead and react to it. Sweet. Awesome deal, J Money. Thank you. Thank you for letting me just say and think about that. Let's go. Take this off the. Sorry, I'm trying to hide that. All right. Okay, let's roll, guys. Sorry, I'm literally, as Law said, building and playing while it's in there. I'll do better next time to figure out how to get the audio and not the freaking video in the in the stream. But it's all good. All right, we're gonna play it. We're starting. Okay, and 1, 2, 3, let's go.
This is really the first all season since you've been here. You've been able to make trades for some high-profile guys. You got a good pick from the agency. A little different splash this year. Just talk about those two guys and what you're making those sort of picks. What message does it send in the locker room?
Well, I think that the message it sends to the locker room is just how much we believe in the locker room. I mean, obviously they're two very high-quality veterans. I think their play clearly speaks for themselves. I think anybody that's followed Brandon, Stephon, or just from pure football ability and production, you're definitely excited about it. But the type of people they are, you can see it immediately just when they came in to sign their contracts, the impact that they'll make, particularly with our young players. So real excited the way they fit into our locker room, because I always continue to emphasize that the locker room is the most important component of the football operations. And I feel we have an excellent locker room to build off of, and these guys are a great fit for us, both.
When you talk about Cooks, he's been to a lot of different schemes. Is that scheme-friendly, quarterback-friendly, a guy that can jump into a different place and still have the same success?
No, I think it's a great point. I think it definitely shows his versatility, and I think anytime you
stop running on the treadmill every single day, or I'm a...
All right, so of course that's a commercial, but let's react to that. So if you guys could hear, I hope you guys could hear clearly, but they were asking him specifically about acquiring Brandon Cooks as well as Stephon Gilmore, and what that means to adding guys like that basically into the locker room. And so let's talk a bit about Brandon Cooks. So I know we were all, and y'all can comment on the chat, I know everybody was a little bit, well, not everybody, but it may have been some disappointment. That's what I will say. It may have been some disappointment within the nation when we acquired Brandon Cooks instead of acquiring DeAndre Hopkins. Y'all could let me know. Were y'all disappointed? Or were y'all good with it? There were some fans that were a little bit sad about it. Just because DeAndre Hopkins is like the bigger name. It's clearly that he was here. It's clear. I agree, Josh Mo, for sure. The media is sleeping on Cooks. Oh, Jay Money said Cooks already. Okay, so let's talk about it. So I know some people were kind of disappointed, but here's my thoughts on acquiring Cooks. Cooks over D-Hop. So if we look at DeAndre Hopkins, I think actually we might be able to talk. Let's see if I can do something. Y'all bear with me. I'm gonna see if I can log into my Twitter because I put my thoughts on Twitter regarding this. And I may just have to do it from my phone. But let's see. Y'all bear with me here. Sorry, guys, I'm just logging into my Twitter on my laptop. Okay, sweet. So I could be able to share my screen with y'all now because I can share my own content. Just can't share other people. All right. Let's get it. All right, guys. Y'all can see my screen, I'm sure. Yeah, okay. So we're going to go to my own tweets. So we can talk a little bit about my thoughts on Brandon Cooks. That acquiring Brandon Cooks over D-Hop. Sorry, I got to go to my own profile. Yeah, profile. Y'all can tell I don't. I only use my phone when I do these things. Hey, I can see my video. Awesome. Okay. Let me go to my tweets. I think I should be able to search it. Actually, I might just have to scroll. How do I? Okay. Listen, can I not search my own tweets? I know I can do it on Twitter. Because this is from a while back. Y'all know I got a lot of stuff on here. I tweet like every day. Let's see if I can find it. Jesus Christ of Nazareth. I know there's a faster way to do this, but could search Twitter, but I think that's just gonna search. It's not gonna search my actual content. Golly, it's like we acquired Brandon Cooks 20 years ago. Don't it feel like that? Let me see here. Okay, look, we're getting closer, guys. We're getting closer. All right, here we go. Sorry, guys. Let's see. I've lost you guys at my stream. Okay, here we go. Okay, so here goes. My thoughts on acquiring Cooks over OBJ and Hopkins. Okay, so this is my thread. So, one, obviously, Cooks is younger. So, it's not like he's light years younger than OBJ and D Hop, but he's still 29. And as you guys know, OBJ and D Hop are 30. And I believe D Hop will be turning 31 in the season. I think as well as D Hop. So Cooks is younger, so that's a perk. Two, I said Cooks has played 29 games over the past 2 seasons, while OBJ has only played 14 and Hopkins 19. So what does that mean? More available, right? It says the best ability. What is availability? So having Cooks means that we're not only going to get a younger wide receiver, but we're also going to get a wide receiver that is available. Because a lot of things, something that I haven't seen many people talk about regarding D Hop, because I know I still want D Hop. I think, I mean, if we're able to, I don't know if the Cowboys will actually acquire him before the draft. I think at this point it may be just better to get D Hop after the draft. However, I mean, if we still need him, like say if we don't get the wide receiver that we want, we just want to add a little bit more bang for our buck, then we add, then we bring in D Hop. But something that people haven't been talking about regarding D Hop is like, y'all do know last year he was suspended for like 6 games because of PEDs. And I'm like, I don't see anybody talking about that. And to me, that kind of shows, because why would he be taking PEDs? You got to think about that. Like, either there's some type of injury or something like that going on to where he felt like he needed to do that. His body breaking down. I mean, it's got to be some reason, because you don't just take performance enhancing drugs unless you need it, right? Or unless you need it. So I think that also we need to think about that, because it kind of shows character, and it kind of shows that there may be some issues beyond. I know that we just see a name and we say we want this guy, but I mean, Brandon Cooks hasn't been caught with PEDs. And as you know, it wasn't like a Lyle Collins situation, because remember when Lyle got caught with PEDs, he tried to appeal it and all that stuff, and then ended up getting suspended more. Like, so dumb. But anyway, D Hop didn't deny it, so that means he 100% did it. And Cole said he thinks a lot of athletes take it, but he just got caught. That's possible, but that also shows not really smart. J Money says, do y'all think if we got D Hop, the expectations would have been too high because of what Philly did? If we got D Hop, do we think the expectations would have been too high? Oh, do you mean the expectations on D Hop specifically, J Money, or the expectations on the team performing? Let me know what you mean. Clarify that statement. But and as Cole was saying, that could be true. That a lot of players take it. But the fact that you got caught speaks volumes. You know what I'm saying? Like, what we cannot afford is to have a star come in here and not be available. Oh, he's saying like Super Bowl or bust. They already, to to be honest, J Money, they're already saying Super Bowl or bust for us. Once we got Cooks and Stephon Gilmore, they're already saying this is the Super Bowl team. They say we're a Super Bowl team every single year. So regardless, even when we got freaking T.Y. Hilton off the couch, they were saying the Cowboys have everything they need to win a Super Bowl. So it doesn't matter what the freak we do, they're always gonna say like we should be in the Super Bowl. And in previous years, like last year, we could have made the Super Bowl if we had a better offensive coordinator. But this year, because of the moves that were made, I'm actually expecting us to be in the Super Bowl. And I'm honestly expecting us to. Oh, because the conference is weak. Yeah, I mean the conference is. Josh Mo said Super Bowl or buzz just because the conference is weak. I mean that's true. The conference is weak now because once we get rid of what's his name, once Aaron Rodgers goes to Jets land, the landscape of quarterbacks, our quarterback for sure is going to be, I believe, number one in the NFC. If people want to put Jalen Hurts, the running back, over Dak, okay, because he made Super Bowl. All right. But, but other than that, our quarterback is number one. So because of the quarterback landscape, this really is the year, and that's why I'm proud of the front office for going all in. Well, their version of going all in acquiring real talent, because we know in the previous years, um, we're acquiring guys in the previous years, which Dallas slowly started doing this when they acquired Curse and they got Hooker, Dante Fowler. Okay, because these guys were former number one, right? First round picks for their teams. I think Dante was picked up by the Jags, if I'm not mistaken. And I think obviously what's his name? Hooker was picked up, and I'm talking about Malik Hooker, so don't flag me, YouTube. Uh, Malik Hooker was obviously drafted by the Colts. So these are former first round picks, who for different reasons, Malik Hooker, we know he couldn't stay healthy. Dante Fowler, we know with him, he just had up and down years. Did great his first year with the Jags, then did great when he went over to the Rams land, and then when he got that bag in what's it in Atlanta, it was like womp womp womp. I don't have buttons yet, guys, but shoot, if I did, I would play the womp womp womp. So it's kind of bad because, as we know, Atlanta's defense was not good, for lack of a better words. But if we, it says, I think we acquired talent, need more grit and guts in the middle. Thank goodness we kept Hankins. Absolutely, absolutely. I don't think we talk about Hankins in this press conference, but absolutely. I know I was thrilled when we got Hankins. I also wanted Carlos Watkins. Sad that we didn't get that, but it is what it is. We weren't able to keep him. I wish we did, because I low-key thought he was our best defensive tackle. If you go back and watch the film, Carlos Watkins is super athletic, guys. I don't know if y'all have seen that, but the guy's like an animal. He's an animal in the run game. So I was very sad to see him go, but it's okay. I know we got Hankins, and we'll probably draft a defensive tackle. And we still have Bohanna, who will be going into his third year. So, and Bohanna did good for the most part. I think his issue was he had that neck injury. So he had a health issue. So hopefully we can keep him on the field this year, and we can have like a little mentor thing going on between Hankins and Bohanna to just make Bohanna all that better. But anyway, let's keep talking about it, because I know y'all probably be here with me all day, but I know I don't want to be on here all day, because like I said, I got another live stream and I got some things I got to take care of. But as we talk about it, so one, Cooks is younger. Two, Cooks is more available. Then I talk about how OBJ and Hopkins have had better careers, right? Because they've obviously multiple time Pro Bowlers. Cooks, even though he's had majority of his career hitting that 1,000-yard season mark, he has never made a Pro Bowl. And so, that's kind of his one knock is that, oh, he can't stay on teams. But I'm like, but look at the teams that he was added to. It's like Super Bowl teams, the Patriots, the Rams, they added him to their roster because they knew they needed a bolster. You see, because I think, who said it? West Coast said it best. He said, when you get rid of a player, when you trade a player that you do want, right? You don't trade away if you want, value for them. Like, you do want to keep them, but because of something else that you need, you trade them away. So the Brandon Cooks, to me, him being traded around, how I see it is that he's an asset that teams like, I need to go get him because I know getting him is going to push my team to another level. So although Brandon Cooks never was able to secure and get a Super Bowl, he did play on 2 Super Bowl teams. So that also brings a certain caliber. We love D-Hop, but D-Hop has never played on a Super Bowl team. And neither has, OBJ did, but he got hurt in the Super Bowl. So put some respect on Cook's name, okay? Then I go, and then I talk about the price and things like that, which we know OBJ's price is, he's come down off of that. And have y'all noticed like the OBJ train hype? It's like it's left the building. Like nobody even cares about OBJ anymore. I'm sure some team's gonna pick him up, but they're gonna get him after the draft when he's like cheap, when he's being realistic about his worth. And then, we talk about Cooks wanting to be here, because I know a lot of people were saying that D-Hop wanted to be here and he's still in Dallas and stuff. But I'm like, Cooks wanted to be here because if y'all don't remember, last year, Cooks was pissed. Third time is a charm, J Money. Absolutely. Joshua, how much would I pay for OBJ? Me personally, to respect OBJ, I was thinking that we would give him like a 3-year, because he was saying, right, that he wanted a long-term contract, because he was saying whatever team that he goes with, that he basically wants to stay there. So, or he wants to retire, basically. Well, the next team that he goes to, he wants to retire there. So, me personally, I was thinking that we could have gave him the D-Law contract, which would have been 3 years, 10 mil. So basically a 3-year, $30 million deal. That's the highest that I would give him, paying him about 10 mil a year, because even though he may not like that, because Michael Gallup is getting paid way more. He was set to get paid 16 million, but when we restructured, I think he's only getting paid like 8. His cap hit is like only 8 million or something like that. But I would personally give him 3 years, 30 million, probably 15 million guaranteed or something like that. But what I would want to do that's team friendly would be a 1 year, like 10 mil contract. But he would never sign for that, because it's basically like, if you get hurt, you're gone. You know what I'm saying? But if I could get him for a 1 year, 10 mil, that's what I would do. And pretty much just make it like all incentive based. Because I mean, this is a guy that came off of 2 back-to-back ACL injuries. That's why I was surprised that and to be honest, guys, I knew the front office was done with, and I think I put that in my tweet, but I knew front office was done with OBJ. Once OBJ put out 4 million, wasn't going to cut it. With J Money, you're not too far off, which we are like, everybody was joking on Twitter land, like, guess who offered him 4 million? Everybody raise your hand. It was Dallas. Okay. We don't know that for sure, but come on, guys. Y'all know Stephen Jones. Y'all know Stephen. So y'all know Stephen definitely offered him like some 4 or 5 million incentive-based contracts, which OBJ was like, heck no, not doing that. It's funny, but y'all know we did it. Y'all know it was us. So they claimed because Aaron Rodgers. Who you talking about, Quetta? Oh, are you talking about you said Jets wanted them, so they claimed because of Aaron Rodgers. Who you talking about? You talking about OBJ? OBJ probably is gonna be. He's probably gonna be a Jet because y'all know how Aaron Diva Rogers is. Anything that man gets, and I don't know. Like, do y'all see any other QB putting out this extensive list that he always puts out? Like, he's so weird, bro. But and y'all be saying y'all want that man, that hippie man over here in Dallas. No, no, sir. No, sir, no, ma'am. Like, don't nobody want old man Aaron Rodgers. He's such a diva. Like, I don't know what's wrong with him. Exactly. How much help does he need? This man had the best wide receiver in football for years and could not get it done. Then he looked terrible. Yes, yeah, he is crazy. He crazy. He looked terrible last year. Terrible. Couldn't even beat all he had to do would be winning in versus the Lions, and he couldn't even beat them. Cold facts. Just gonna be like the sorry guys, but the Jets are gonna be like the Broncos were last year. Yep, they not doing nothing over there. The Jets is making a mistake, but they not doing well. They may not be making a mistake if Aaron Rodgers actually mentors Zach Wilson, but we already know Aaron Rodgers ain't mentoring nobody, so they're making a mistake by getting him. But whatever, they think they're gonna win the Super Bowl, so let them have it. But anyway, all in all, guys, I love, and clearly what Mike was saying is that whenever you bring somebody like a Gilmore, whenever you bring somebody like a Cooks into your franchise, like, it just works wonders for your locker room, because these are guys that these are Super Bowl guys, right? They've been on Super Bowl teams. They know the leadership, and they're still actually at the top of their position. Like, y'all go through and look at, according to Pro Football Focus, which we don't always follow their grades, but Stephon Gilmore was like top 5 in coverage last year. You know what I'm saying? Brandon Cooks, this is a guy that he's had no quarterback over there in Texans land. Because I don't think anybody considers Davis Mills an actual NFL starter. And he's been silently getting 1,000 yards. Like, anytime your wide receiver can do that type of thing with a quarterback that's low-key terrible, it just speaks to how good they are. So, all in all, let me put this back. I'm very, very excited that we got Brandon Cooks, and clearly Mike McCarthy is too. Didn't talk that much about Stephon Gilmore, but I'm also excited as heck that we got Stephon Gilmore. Well, I said a little bit about him, but obviously this is a guy that is still at the top of his position. Yes, he is kind of old, but I don't care about your age as long as you're still able to perform. So, that's, and there hasn't been, if there has been regression with Stephon Gilmore, hasn't been much. Okay, but anyway, let's go ahead and I talked to this may be like a 3-hour live show, guys, but we're gonna push through it. I'm gonna try to get through the next topic a little bit faster. But let's go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead. Sorry, I'm gonna cue up the next part of this interview. And we're going to go ahead and get into it.
For me personally, to have the opportunity to coach the last couple of years in a digit system based, that was made from a digit system, and now in being a West Coast, offense individual my whole career. I mean, when you learn other systems, it just broadens your football education. And I think Brandon definitely brings that.
Mike, you talked about when you were in Green Bay, your level of involvement in personnel and how that's changed now. How much did you roll up your sleeves on those two guys?
Those were two easy deals. It's, you got to remember we played against Stephon. He was with the Colts this past year. So that the film evaluation was easy. But frankly, it was more of a, can we get this done from a business perspective? I thought, really Connor, his only challenge was really his injuries, in the earlier year. I think he's definitely, on the rise. He's one of your young guys. You like to get back. I think his best football is in front of him. He did a great job for us last year, and I thought he particularly played well in the playoff game too. So, big fan of Connor. Very versatile. He probably gets tired of me telling him how much I like playing him at fullback, but no, he's you got a really good one there.
What division you
have? A point I'll talk briefly just about Connor McGovern. I'm fine with Connor McGovern gone. Now, granted, just playing a little bit devil's advocate with Connor McGovern, we did play him out of position his entire time that he was here, which is unfortunate because we have Connor McGovern is a right guard. A right guard / center is what he is position wise. Now we had him playing left guard the entire time he was here. So unfortunately, he's not a good left guard. And that's just the best way I can say it. He's about average, or I would honestly say maybe a little bit below average left guard. But we know that when he played against Tampa week 1 in 2021, when Zach Martin was out, I think Zach Martin was out because of COVID, I think. But because of Zach Martin was out, Connor McGovern did a great job at right guard because he's a right guard. But as a left guard, he just wasn't it. So I'm fine with him going to Bills land. Hopefully they play him in position, and he may be great over there. But here, there just was no position for him because we're not benching Zach Martin for Connor McGovern, and we'll keep listening.
Brandon in the offense, how does he fit in what you guys want to do up here?
The vision? Yeah. I think just like anything, everybody wants to put a player in one spot, and we've talked about this before. The versatility of wide receiver play to me is key. Because when you can play, an individual inside and outside, obviously it gives him more flexibility to get, create more opportunities for him personally, but it also makes the other guys around him better. So I think you can see that now with CD, his ability to play inside and outside and to have that type of versatility. But, I think if you're going to line him up, his outside vertical routes, I think he's exceptional at. You can see the production that he's really had in every scheme that he's played in too. So, we have looked at his route tree, the routes that he's primarily been used at, what he's been productive at. So, we'll pay close attention to that.
People look at your background.
So, commenting on that, because even though Brandon Cooks is kind of a shorter wide receiver, let's look and see how tall he is. I think he's like 5, maybe like 10. Let's see. I know he's not 6 foot for sure. Yeah, he's 5'10". Yeah, that's right. So Brandon Cooks is a 5'10" wide receiver. I also do too, Josmo. Love what Mike said right here, because it's what we're going to be able to do with Brandon Cooks is something that we have not been able to do in this franchise. We have not had this skill set receiver wise in a while. And that's also a reason that I like getting Brandon Cooks over DeAndre Hopkins. Now, I still want, if we get DeAndre Hopkins, I'm for it, because y'all know DeAndre Hopkins is CeeDee Lamb's idol. So, it's going to do wonders for the morale of the locker room if we get DeAndre Hopkins, specifically for, CeeDee Lamb. However, Brandon Cooks is a burner. And that is something that we have not had. Now, we've had Michael Gallup, who I believe is a 4-4 guy. But one, we know Michael Gallup can't stay healthy. And Michael Gallup does not have the hands of a Brandon Cooks. So if you go through and watch Brandon Cooks' film, this guy, and that's what Mike was saying, vertical, right? Like his vertical, he can run any route on the route tree. But his ability to run past NFL cornerbacks and not only run past them, but when the ball is thrown to him, he is going to go up and catch it. So he's saying that even though, Brandon Cooks is a little bit shorter, he's shorter than CD, because I think CD is like 6'1", 6'2". Brandon Cooks is he's primarily a outside wide receiver compared to a CD Lamb, who I think CD Lamb is both. People try to say that he's just a slot. He's not a slot wide receiver. CD Lamb has proved that he can win on the outside. He's proved that he can win on the inside. We see now, though, NFL teams, to create the matchup issues, they are putting their best wide receiver in the slot, right? Because you want your number one wide receiver against nickelbacks. You want your number one wide receiver against linebackers, right? Because that creates a matchup nightmare. So having the ability to play CD outside and inside, Brandon Cooks can play outside and inside. It's just going to make defensive coordinators' lives that much harder. Because see, what we were experiencing this year, guys, is that teams knew that y'all don't have any other weapons. Y'all just don't, besides Tony Pollard. And Kelly barely used him as a receiving back. Barely. That was not something that was consistent at all in our offense, which we don't know why, because if you look at Tony's Memphis film, he was a receiving back. Like, I don't even want to if I get started on Kellen Moore, we'll be here all day. But what is it? Our offense hasn't been threatening teams vertically since 2019. Exactly. So we need to be able to stretch the field and bring a threat, right? Because the deep ball is a threat. It causes defensive coordinators to not just have their guys like they were doing against us sitting on routes, right? Being able to just sit down a zone and bracket a guy, because they knew we were going to be doing curls and hooks. Like in the West Coast offensive system, we're going to see slants, we're going to see drags, right? We are going to see more. That's why we're so excited. And I'm not going to go too much on that, because I think Mike is going to talk more about that. I know, Quetta, we do miss Amari. I'm not going to lie. Amari is one of the best route runners in the league, period. With plantar fasciitis, whatever, however you want to spin it or call it. The way that Amari Cooper explodes off the line, and that's why Dak didn't have these interceptions with Amari Cooper, because Amari Cooper's not only smart, but he also is just a supreme or a premium route runner. So when you're a premium route runner, that means you can pretty much get open. Something that open through whatever route. Something that CD Lamb that we miss in Amari Cooper and that CD Lamb doesn't quite have is that CD Lamb is a yak guy, so you want to get him into space, but he's not this big body nuanced route runner. Now his route running over the season got a lot better. One of CD Lamb's best games and best plays is in that Jags game, where Dak throws him a crosser and CD cuts in, and then he literally stops on a dime, and the whole he stops on a dime and gets like 20 or something yards. Like, that's who CD Lamb is. He is a yak god. He is a yak king. And so we're going to be able to see that, because last year, Mike McCarthy talked about how he wants to do matchup football, how he wants CD Lamb to play a Jerry Rice role as a flanker wide receiver. It's like we're moving him all over the offense. Like I'm just so excited. But anyway, just speaking specifically about Brandon Cooks. Brandon Cooks adds an element to our offense that we just haven't had in years. And that's something that D-Hop's not going to be able to get, because D-Hop is too a yak guy. Now, I know that they're in D-Hop's prime. There were some games where he could beat you long speed, but he's mostly a yak guy, just like CD Lamb. Obviously, why CD Lamb? That's his idol. You get what I'm saying? Like, his whole game is predicated off of D-Hop. But let's keep listening.
Think about, West Coast offense, how different is this going to look? But is it really, I mean, it's kind of a fusion of the two. Is it really more maybe protections and things like that versus?
Yeah, I don't see a huge change in the run component of it, schematically, and but I think it's just like anything. If you put three play callers in one room and gave them the same playbook, they're all going to call a little differently. So I think that's to be expected. I think you definitely, second point is you have to evolve it every year anyways. If we didn't make the change of play caller, we'd be evolving anyways. You look the way we evolved from 2020.
Shout out to the new people that are viewing. If you let me know who you are in the chat, I will shout you out.
When I recommended us run the ball back then into 2021 to 2022, that's an evolution you need to continue to make. So I think how we play this year will be similar to how we played last year. But yeah, protection, we definitely want to be better in the area of protection. That's something we spent a ton of time on early in the process. I think anytime you can protect your quarterback better, it's helpful. So, if you look at this, I think we're 68% completion percentage last year. We want to be above 70. So, we're just trying to, you're always trying to improve your efficiency. So, obviously, the giveaways is another thing we're focused on. But so, to me, those are all normal focal points in the off season, and that's where our focus has been.
Mike, how tough is
Okay, so talking about that, because they basically asked him how is this offense going to change, and he said, well, running wise, we're going to stay the same. And I think not necessarily, because y'all know we didn't really have a run scheme with Kellen. I think what Mike is saying is that we're going to continue to run the ball just like we did in 2022, which is 30 attempts minimum per game, right? We're going to continue to run the ball efficiently. But when you talk about the other ways that the offense is going to change a little bit, right? Because Mike said, he's a traditional West Coast guy, which I want you guys to start putting respect on Mike McCarthy's name. Because I think when you watch 3 and 4 letter networks, when you listen to, what is it, The Fan 105.3 or 103.5, The Fan, they disrespect Mike McCarthy to no end. And honestly, I'm tired of it. I'm tired of the disrespect to Mike McCarthy. I'm tired of, we have guys like, media guys like Clarence Hill going on The Fan and saying, what we're worried about is, can Mike McCarthy call plays? Mike McCarthy is a third generation protege of Bill Walsh. If you don't know who Bill Walsh is, I suggest you Google him. But Bill Walsh is the father, right, of the West Coast offense. Okay. So Mike McCarthy is when I say third generation protege, because Mike McCarthy was literally brought in the league under Bill Walsh's assistant, which was Marty Schottenheimer. Y'all, that name ring a bell? Because Brian Schottenheimer is now our offensive coordinator, who is Marty Schottenheimer's son. So we got to stop disrespecting Mike McCarthy. We have got to stop disrespecting him, because this is a coach. This is a man who absolutely knows what he's doing. When it comes to the history of football, he was taught basically by the forefathers of football. Okay. So people act like Mike McCarthy just was calling plays at Green Bay. Mike McCarthy had a career, right, before he went to Green Bay. That's how he got the Green Bay head coach job. Okay. So not only has Mike McCarthy had called plays for many of years, I would say almost like 20 plus years. So it's not that you forget. May he be a little bit rusty? Maybe. But to sit here and say we're worried about it, as if this man doesn't know, as if this man is dumb and has not been sitting. And that's what he's saying. Like, we've been able to sit back. Because y'all know we brought on we brought on Brian Schottenheimer at the beginning of this 2022 season, right? So because he was able to bring on Brian, Brian was a consultant. He was supposed to be an offensive and defensive consultant, basically. But we know Mike brought him here so that he could go and watch Kellen, because our offense is pretty much going to be a hybrid now. It's going to be a hybrid between the traditional West Coast as well as the number system, which is the number system is what we've been running now, right? The number system specifically, the what we've pretty much been running. That's why people say our offense looks the same since 2006. Is like the Air Coryell type of digit system, right? Which is I believe the Air Coryell system is kind of like a rendition um, of the West Coast, if I'm not mistaken. But it's a completely different system, right? So that's what we've been running. We've never had a I don't even think in the 90s we had a West Coast offensive system. So this whole system is, and that's another thing. We're now putting, and Mike McCarthy talked about ball protection. So you see in the West Coast offensive system, it's predicated on getting the ball out of your quarterback's hands quickly. So it's not going to be, but it's not going to look like, if you go back and watch the games with Joe Montana, it's not going to look like that, because if you go back and watch like the Joe Montana games, it's literally like every single play was like three-step drop, ball out, three-step drop, ball out. So it's not going to be exactly like that. Right, but exactly, Josh. He said Rogers likes the West Coast system. Exactly. The West Coast system is the most quarterback friendly system because everything is tied to everything is predicated to the quarterback's feet and his timing. You see, in the system that we were in this year, in last year, it was a option route heavy system. So an option route, I don't know if you guys know what an option route is, but an option route pretty much takes the responsibility out of the quarterback's hands totally, and it also puts it in the wide receiver's hands, because pretty much the wide receiver and the quarterback have to see the same thing at the exact same time. Otherwise, if you don't, then it can result in an interception. That's what happened to Dak and CD a lot over this well, not a lot, but a few times last year and this year, because they weren't seeing things the same. And you see, smart defensive coordinators know that's why defensive coordinators started to disguise, right, their defense, because they realized if you just show, they knew that we ran a heavy option system. So if you just show Dak Prescott exactly what you're running, if you just show the wide receivers exactly what you're running, if you're gonna get dissected. Dak Prescott is like one of the best quarterbacks in the league in reading defenses. But see, let the 3 and 4 letter networks tell it he's the worst. No, he's actually the best. One of the best. Okay, I won't say the best, but I'll say he's one of the best quarterbacks at reading defenses. So that's the reason why they started bringing in they started disguising defenses to not only try to, you're not confusing Dak Prescott, but the thing of disguising defenses is so that the quarterback holds the ball longer, right? So he holds the ball longer. When you hold the ball longer, that results in what? Sacks, or it results in late throws. So that's why they started disguising defenses on Dak Prescott, because they knew if we just sit here, exactly what Josmo said, Dak will cook you, right? Like if you can't disguise your defenses, like Philly was trying to disguise when we played them on Christmas Eve, but Dak destroyed them because they can't disguise defenses. But when you disguise defenses, it's not that it confuses the quarterback, it's that it causes him to hold the ball longer, right? And so that's what results in errors on offense. And also, if you disguise the defense, now Dak Prescott is not confused because he's a quarterback. But if you have somebody like CeeDee Lamb, he's just downright confused. If you disguise that defense, he's downright confused. That's why there were so many times where CD was supposed to cross face of the safety, but he goes up because he thinks it's a cover two. So he's going to run a post route instead of just running the crossing route. So those are the issues that we were facing. So if you see, so the combination of the West Coast system and the digit system is what our new offense is going to be. Mike McCarthy and Brian Schottenheimer are fusing that. They're fusing those systems together. So that's what our offense is going to look like. It's going to be a hybrid, which is very cool and very exciting because I don't know. Well, I think a couple of these teams do run hybrids. I don't think anybody just runs straight up traditional West Coast anymore. So it's not that we're going to completely eliminate the option routes. It's just not going to be as aggressive as that everybody is running option routes and different things like that. All right, thank you, Quetta. Appreciate it. But uh, I'm trying to give y'all some good content, some thoughts. Like I said, I'm just freestyling it. I know some people y'all might have to check out on me, but I mean, this is my channel, and this is so that you guys can hear my thoughts because I put my thoughts on Twitter, but now I'm putting my thoughts out live. So let's keep listening.
Decision was it to cut Zeke, and what went into that decision making?
Yeah, I mean, Zeke has been a big part of the Dallas Cowboys, both on and off the field. So I think we're all in tune to that, very sensitive to that too. I know my time, what I admired about Zeke, going back to the pandemic, when we had our meetings out into the Ford Center, and Zeke sat in the first seat, front row, and so I mean he's very coachable, a great teammate. He's loved in the locker room. So I mean, all those things factor. But I think just like anything, the financial puzzle, you're always trying to put it together and trying to build and grow your football team. So these decisions are always very difficult.
Like when you first came here, you didn't change the offensive language, and it seemed like a wise move. Do you make some changes in that regard now? And how is the install going?
Well, the only language change that we'll make is to the new things, and we've been very sensitive to how things were called before. I mean, because you got two guys that they've been in the West Coast offense, and Brian Schottenheimer and I. And the beauty of Brian, he's also coaching a digit system, and and Brian is has his own playbook to say.
See what I told you guys? It's going to be a hybrid. That's basically what Mike is saying, is that him and Brian have traditionally West Coast guys, but Brian has also coached the digit system, so it's going to be a fusion,
which is a combination of both. So that
after the bright lights of Hollywood set on WrestleMania,
we'll pause there and let the let the commercial run out there. But and then we can speak a little bit because they commented about Zeke, which J Money, that's correct. Kellen did have some good plays. See, that was exactly that was Kellen's issue. So I want to just commenting because I want to interact with you guys in the chat. That's 100% true. So Kellen Moore did have good plays. He absolutely did have good plays, but he did not know. Kellen Moore is struggling right now because he does not know situational football, right? He doesn't know situational football, and he does not believe in a scheme. That's the issue. Because that's why when we would look at our offense, we were so scared because it's like 1 second our offense looks like this and it's humming, right? Think about the playoff games. When we played against the Bucks, we looked amazing. I don't think our offense, well, besides that in the Bears game, I don't think our offense has ever flowed any better than those two games. I mean, wide receivers wide open. It's like they could not stop us. Those were amazing games for us. But then we would have games where Kellen, it's like our offense is totally different. And now we're struggling. And see, that's the issue. Players need consistency. They need consistency. Even though a player may be able to run all these different schemes, Jackson versus the Jaguars, that was because we were also humming in that game. Even though they may have these, they can do every scheme. Just because you can do everything doesn't mean you should do everything. You understand what I'm saying? And Kellen could not consistently keep a playbook. He had no foundation. because he's pretty much trying to call plays exactly like he did at Boise State. And shout out to my guy Jay Tuck. Y'all can go to Jay Tuck's channel where he literally breaks down the entire no ID offense that we were running, which is exactly what I described. It looks like this today and that tomorrow, and we could not get a rhythm like that because you need to know as a team who you are. You need to have a foundation. Kellen didn't have that. And Kellen also, just like Mike called him out at the combine, he wants to light up the scoreboard. So he doesn't believe in controlling the tempo of a game, which brings me into Mike's comments on Ezekiel Elliott. This is why I want, y'all are hearing it first, here live from me. Actually, I think I've said this on West Coast, but I'm saying it here on my own live show. I want Ezekiel Elliott back. Absolutely, I do. Because having a back like Ezekiel Elliott is how you control the pace of a game. You cannot control the pace of a game with a guy like Tony Pollard, because Tony Pollard does not. He is not a pace back like Zeke. Tony Pollard is a what you call explosive, a home run hitting back. Okay, that's what he's, a home run. So it's either a boom or bust with him. It's either Tony Pollard is getting like 1 or 2 yards, or he's getting like 62. Because that's how he is. If y'all don't believe me, go and watch. Go and watch. When Tony, and that's why in games when he placed out D lines, like versus Washington, averaging less than a yard per carry. Y'all let me know if y'all ever saw Zeke average less than a yard per carry. Like, look at the averages. Also versus the Eagles, Tony Pollard versus the our division opponents. Tony Pollard struggles against our division opponents. You want to know why? Because they have stout D lines. In Tony Pollard's game, it's not going through people, it is maneuvering around right people. But if you have a defensive line that is disciplined, that knows how to play their gaps, that knows how to keep contained, control the edge, Tony Pollard, you're going to see him not do much. You can even look at the 49ers game. What was Tony Pollard doing? Nothing. He was getting stopped in the back with Fred Warner was incredible in that game. He was just lighting everybody up. Let's just be honest. I mean, he was getting to the backfield so fast. It's okay, Jasmine. I'm glad you're back. Yeah, that wasn't Fred that did that hip tackle, Quetta. That was I think that was Jimmy Ward, if I'm not mistaken. And he absolutely should not have done that. And that's why they're trying to consider if they should rule that out. It's not a good tackle. There's no reason to tackle him like that at all. To me, it's just nasty, but I don't want to go too much into that. Yeah, I think it was Ward. It was Jimmy Ward. It was no need to tackle Tony Pollard like that, because I mean the play was just a literal like dump off. It's just a dump off, and like all you had to do was literally. I mean, there was so many ways you could tackle him besides pulling him like that and wrapping your leg around his leg and then causing freaking foot to break. So anyway, but let's keep listening. Uh-oh. Make sure my volume's up. All right, we'll keep listening.
This has been a very good fit. I think the new wrinkles that we have will probably be terms that we feel fit the current terminology, or if it's brand new, we may use some of the West Coast terminology just because there's history. See, I'm huge into the history of concepts. Just fortunately, being in the same offense for 30 years, when you say flanker drive, you say double, pinch, or those concepts are more than just routes in a read for the quarterback. So there's every play has history. When it came into the league, when it was primarily used, we have a thing we call PCP. It's the player play expectation and what we want out of each play. So and I think that just locking that down a little tighter, I think it'll be helpful for us.
And you guys are burning the midnight oil, getting that thing done.
Oh yeah, no, it's been that's why I didn't go to the combine. Frankly, I just flew up for the media part, but. Yeah, we've been going pretty much around the clock weekends, and so it's the offensive staff's in a year one mode. We're in a year one mode.
Hey Mike, you might remember me, Kayla from St. Norbert.
And so this is how and I'll comment on your comment, J Money. So Davis is a good back. I do believe in Malik Davis, and I believe that I think he's going to compete for sure in training camp for that running back 3 because I mean it'll be him, Rico Dowdell, and also what's the other guy we picked up from Ronald Jones. So it'll be those 3 guys that are going to be competing for that running back 3 spot. I do wish we used Davis more, like for instance, in that 49ers game, I think Davis would have been able to give us something because I mean when we watched him in the Tennessee Titans game, he was able to give us juice. And I think he would be able to give us the exact same thing. I think he would have been able to give us something in that 49ers game as far as a change of pace back. But still, Malik Davis is still not a pace back. So that's why we got to. And if you listen when they asked Steven at the owners meeting, like, what kind of back are we going after? If we don't get Zeke back, we are going to go after a back that we can pace games with. A strong, powerful power back. Somebody like a Bijan. I don't know if Bijan will be there, but Bijan can do that. Kendre Miller can do that. I have not watched film on him, but it looks like from what I've heard, Dwayne McBride can do that. So these are different backs that, and they have the I'm naming these guys because these guys have the production, right? Because like Kendre Miller had like 18 touchdowns. Bijan had like a crazy amount of touchdowns, right? And so we need somebody because Zeke had 12 of the year. So you need somebody who has a nose for the end zone. You need somebody who can score at the goal line. You need somebody who can pick up short yardage. You need somebody that you can pace a game with. And we just know we can't pace games with Tony Pollard. That's no knock on Tony Pollard. Tony Pollard is a great back for what he is, right? Which is a change of pace back, which is that home run hitting back. That's who he is. He's not a pace back. You can't make him into that. He's just not that. So hopefully, as I said, I prefer just bring Zeke back. I mean, because it'll be sad AF if we can't have 2 Pollards. That's the only reason why I'm kind of against Gibbs. But here's my rebuttal to that. I like Gibbs a lot, and I think he offers. I have watched film on Gibbs, and I think he offers. I think he may even be a little bit better than Tony Pollard. I don't want to disrespect Tony Pollard, but Tony Pollard sometimes does not have the greatest of hands. And I know that may sound crazy because he's a receiving back, but there's times where it's like just simple dump offs that he just does not catch. And I think Jahmyr Gibbs is way better. Like I didn't really like Jahmyr Gibbs almost has like an actual receiving hands. Bijan Robinson does as well. Like they have the body control, right? They have the body control of like a receiver. And so that's something that Tony Pollard really does not have. And so I actually think Gibbs may be a little bit better, or he has a higher upside. Maybe I'll say it like that than Tony Pollard. So actually, if we got Gibbs, I would be exactly J Money. We need somebody who's better. Are you saying Gibbs is better between the tackles? But like we need somebody who is we need somebody to complement Tony. That's what I'm saying. We need a back that complements Tony. We don't need 2 Tonys because if we have 2 Tonys, we'll never be able to control the pace of the game. Right? Yeah, I agree. Gibbs is better. Gibbs is better between the tackles. That's why I say I think he's a little bit better, or he has a better upside than Tony Pollard. I won't say better now because he is a rookie. He's never played a snap in the NFL. Tony Pollard has. So I can't just say he's better, but I do think he may have a better upside. I think he has better hands. better between the tackles because he has better footwork than Tony. Um, uh, yeah. So that's what I'll say about that. I don't think I've ever said that thought live, but I do. People say we shouldn't draft Gibbs, and I think we should because I don't think the front office. Well, I won't say we should, but I'll be okay with it because I don't think the front office is all in on Tony. Obviously, why we franchise tagged him, and something tells me we're just going to let him play on the franchise tag and then just let him go. Um, I think we pretty much just kept him so that it's not like we lost Zeke and Tony, and because I think the front office already knew that they were going to move off of that Zeke contract, and so I think it's the same way like they did Schultz. It's like we're getting rid of Amari, let's not get rid of Schultz too because Schultz was second in yards behind CeeDee Lamb. That's crazy over Amari Cooper, but um, we didn't want to get rid of two of Dak's weapons, so we just ended up franchise tagging Schultz. Just let him say one here, one more year, and I think they're going to do the same thing with Tony Pollard. Honestly, if they do reach a deal, I'll be shocked. Just to be honest, because usually when we put people on the franchise tag, you play on the franchise tag. We don't usually sign those guys. But all right, let's keep listening.
College and your peer. Will you nice and loudly tell me about the charities and causes that you're most passionate about?
Well, I mean,
I'm
the
gonna
thing
kind of
about
skip this
our
because she's
charities,
just
I mean,
asking about
we've always focused on the kids,
charities out of
just
that
from,
Mike and his wife
from
are
the
doing.
foundation.
I'm not really worried about
Like
that.
trying to replace him. Maybe it's twofold, organizationally, but also on the field.
Well, I think first off, I mean, you talk
Like trying to replace him. Maybe it's twofold.
focus on the children as we always have been.
Sorry, I'm rewinding.
Mike, just following up on the question about Zeke. How do you envision what it looks like trying to replace him? Maybe it's twofold, organizationally, but also on the field.
Well, I
Asking
think
about
first
replacing
off, I
Zeke.
mean, you talk about
How do you
football part
replace
of it. I
him?
mean, it's anytime you have a big change like this, because you look at, just look at Zeke's opportunities. I'll speak on just my time with him the last 3 years. So where do those touches?
If y'all want to know what he said about the charities, all he said was they asked him like what charities he's involved in, and he just said him and his wife are working on stuff to build charities for children because that's what they do. That's what they did when they were down in Green Bay, and so they're just working on getting their licensing and everything they need to start a charity for children down in Dallas. That's it.
Go and so much of this game is made about how many times you're running or pass it, but it's really how do you get the ball distributed to your perimeter players. So, and it's no different with Tony. I mean, Tony, and frankly, sitting there and having Tony and Zeke, that was the conversation in the offensive staff game plan meetings is how are we going to get these guys to touch the ball, and so, that won't change. So you just look at where those touches go. Do some of them touches go to the receiver, tight ends? I mean, the new backs will definitely absorb some of those opportunities. Maybe Tony's will go up. So ball distribution has always been my focal point, particularly because when you have 70 plays in a game, if you're not getting the ball distributed 75% of those plays, then, you're playing uphill to the defense.
Coach, what do you feel is getting a
I just had a great answer there.
That's
Remember we asked him about Tommy Dever. Somebody was late to
He's
the party.
versatile. I mean, he
Tackle or both?
both, but I mean, we'll probably start him in the left guard line. Is what we talked about.
What do you like?
From him.
Sorry for doubling up.
Do you see Chuma Udoga as a guard or
There's
a
something about
tackle or
Chuma,
both?
the guy that we
Both,
picked
but
up.
I mean, we'll probably start him in the left guard line. Is what we talked about.
What do you like about him, his game?
His flexibility, his athletic ability. I mean, you can see he's a good athlete. Came in, did a nice job in the interviews. So, we feel like he'll be a good fit for us.
Is he a candidate to start at left guard?
I haven't lined up with him yet. Yeah, I hope so. Yeah, but based on film evaluation, he definitely has that that capability without a doubt.
Mike Lyon, he's no he can't say no. We just bringing him in for the camp body. But Chuma, I think is just competing to be a depth piece. Like competing with guys like Avante Collins and stuff like that. Which I hope Avante Collins actually gets like a starting swing spot if he could be like our starting swing guard or something like that because I think Avante Collins the locker room loves him He started that hat line, linemen lead the way. If you've seen the players wear that, that's his hat line. The locker room loves him, and he obviously he showed his capabilities in preseason, that he can play guard, he can play both sides. So that's another thing that I would like to talk about Mike McCarthy that is huge for us that we did not do in the future is cross training. So we cross train now our offensive linemen because we want you to be able to play left, right, and we want you to be able to play guard or tackle if we need to. That was an issue in the past, in that, once you play a position, and I know there's some people that think that like once you have a position, you just stay there. But we all know that in football, injuries happen, right? And so sometimes, like, I'm going to need to move my best player, even though he's a guard. I may need to move him to tackle, or I may need to move my tackle to guard. I may need to move my guard to center. So players need to be cross trained, and that's something that's huge that Mike McCarthy is bringing in, and that's why that's something special about a guy like Chuma, because even though he's competing to be a depth piece, he is versatile. He is a tackle. He is a guard. So that's something that's huge for our locker room and just huge for this organization in general, because we know we do face injuries. We know guys like Tyron is not going to last. Last year we lost Terrence Steele. So we need our guys to be able to move all across the line so that we can be able to put the best combination out.
Mike Stevens said yesterday that part of the mindset of not giving Zeke a pay cut offer is you don't want to be insulting to the player. How do you, when a decision like that is coming up, what's your input in it? And do you agree that
the business part of it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's healthy. And every place does it differently. I think when the head coach and I learned this from Ted Thompson, because it was his philosophy, and I agree with it. When the head coach is put in a position of finances, it can be conflicting.
And there he's just talking about, they asked him specifically about, was he involved at all with or what is his thoughts on not really offering Zeke a contract, that basically would be lowballing and insulting Zeke, essentially is what, he was asked, which Mike, of course, doesn't have anything to do with that. That is a front office decision. I personally think Mike wanted Zeke to be here, but we knew, contractually, nobody was going to, it just would have been not a smart thing to do at all to pay Zeke $16 million this year. So like we all know that. Um That's an interesting question. So Quetta says, do you think we should do that with the QB position, not cross train, of course, but do what the Saints do, the QB share a game, maybe first quarter after halftime? So I think it would be cool to get a gadget quarterback like a Taysom Hill, who which we know in Saints land, I think they rotate quarterbacks so much just because Taysom Hill is he's just integral to their or he's just key. He's key to their offense. I don't think you want to rotate quarterbacks like that, because I think the Saints would prefer not to do that, but they have to. You get what I'm saying? So I don't think we should rotate quarterbacks where it's like they split halves or anything like that. But I think that if you want to have a gadget quarterback that can come in and maybe just like run a draw, or uh some type of quarterback run, because like you want to protect Dak, right? Because you may not want Dak to be doing that, because you're like, we need to keep Dak for a full season. Dak is the quarterback that's literally leading. He's literally leading the NFL for franchise or starting quarterbacks in missed time. So like if you wanted to bring somebody in, for example, this idea has been thrown out by Boss Cowboy, but like if you get Max Duggan obviously is inaccurate as I don't know what, but he does have he reminds me a lot of Taysom Hill. Like they have a like a strong arm, but they're super inaccurate. But they're really fast. And so I think like you could use him to do some little gadget stuff like that. But pretty much I don't think we would need to do that now. If I would say we would maybe like once Dak hits like the 35-year mark and he's still here, that you could do something like that because you're just trying to protect Dak at that point from not facing injury. Because I mean, the older you get, the longer it takes for you to heal. Blah 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 blah. So y'all know how I feel about that. Another Tim Tebow. Yeah, essentially, that's about as good as Duggan. I don't see him progressing. Now, Michael McCarthy is a quarterback developer. So I do think that Duggan he's going to get more accurate as the year comes by. I mean, as time goes by, but I don't foresee him being an NFL starter. I foresee him being a career backup. But that's just my, same with guys like Stetson Bennett and stuff like that. That's just my observations of Duggan. I really like Duggan a lot. I just think it takes more than it takes this. You have to be very cerebral to be an NFL quarterback, a starting NFL quarterback. And like that's what separates even the backups. Like you still have to have the brain. You may not have the body, right? But you still have to have the mind in order to be decent. Like a Cooper Rush. Cooper Rush has a noodle arm, but he has the mind. So you got to have one or the two. You cannot not have the mind and not have the body. So yeah, but let's keep listening. And I have no problem, Quita. I'm glad to answer that question. Hold on. Sorry.
Conversations were handled the business part. I was not part of it.
And on another note, do you talk to all the coaches about who have called plays and gone away for several years and then come back about what that process is like?
Have I talked to anybody?
Yeah.
No, I haven't.
What do you expect that process to be like? I know we talked to you a little bit about it at Combine, but obviously you have preseason if you want to. But do you expect it to be a little bit of a adjustment going back?
I'm excited about it. I'll tell you this. You forget how much time you put into it, and I'm just talking about mentally. I mean, you're in the Shire, riding to work. It's constant. You have the conversations. As you're going through the cut-ups, and we're discussing how does this concept fit with this concept, take this concept out, put this concept in. When you're going to call that? So it's going on constantly. I mean, it's so because I've done it long enough that because all the recommendations of your staff are outstanding. They wouldn't bring it up, and so they're all good points. But at the end of the day, the guy calling it, the play caller has to be the filter of, okay, how does that fit? Because I love that play, but are you going to call it? So to me, it doesn't start once the preseason game starts. It's the thought process and in the mental training starts now. I don't sleep as well as I did prior to the, but I'm sure I'm talking in my sleep more than I ever have, but that's how it always was. It takes a lot. It takes up a lot of your headspace.
And so did y'all hear that? He said that's how I always was. So that's why I said at the beginning of the show, we need to stop disrespecting Mike McCarthy. This guy called plays and won the Super Bowl with like 20 players on injured reserve. And as you've heard him, he said, you may like a play. This goes back to what Jay Money was saying. He said Kellen had good plays. He just didn't know when to call them. You see, that's what goes into being a play caller. It's not just designing plays, which Kellen could design plays, but it's about knowing the situation of the game. For example, let's talk briefly about the Green Bay game. So DeMarcus Lawrence gets us a turnover, right? Where he gets us a turnover, we're in the red zone. As an offensive coordinator, your thought process should be, okay, we just got a turnover. We're already up. We're already up on Green Bay. We got to get points here regardless. We got to get points here. So your play calling should be a little bit more conservative, right? You want to do things that you know for sure it's going to be a completion, or you could just do what? Run the ball. Like throwing an option route, which is what we did there, and then it was an interception. There is so much that goes into being an offensive play caller than just designing plays. This is why people disrespect, you have guys like Mike Lombardi who call Kellen Moore joystick, because it's like you think that this game is mad, and that you can just throw any play out there and it'll work. These are NFL, these are the best athletes in the world. You just don't throw anything out there. Mike McCarthy even said that option route play that we call, you usually don't even call that play in the red zone. So the fact that Kellen didn't know, let's not call this option. Let's just call a slant or a drag or something simple, so that, hey, even if we get an incompletion, at the very least, we're getting 3 points here. And do y'all remember what we lost by? Y'all remember that? Y'all remember how many points did we lose by in the Green Bay game? Somebody let me know in the chat. See if anybody knows. How many points did we lose by in the Green Bay game? Nobody knows. Nobody knows. I'm trying to see if anybody knows. 3. Thank you, J Money. We lost by a field goal in that game. So if we got 3 there, right? We don't even, if we get 3 there, we don't even go into overtime. Because remember, we had to go into overtime, and then they end up winning by a field goal. So if we get 3 there, instead of Dak throwing that pick, we win the game in regulation. Like, those are the things that you have to think. Those are the things that killed us with Kellen Moore. He did not know situational football. And then on top of that, this was Dak's coach, right? So if Dak's coach doesn't know situational football, then therefore Dak doesn't know situational football. This is why it's a huge, huge deal. This is why it's a huge, huge deal. Funny thing about that game. Yeah, they did try to give us that game. If we could have run the ball, but y'all remember who we were missing in that game? Ezekiel Elliott. We could not pace that game. I still think to this day, if we had Zeke, we would be able to, because at that second half, we would have been able to just run the ball, control the clock, win the game, even with that interception. But those are the things that Kellen Moore was missing. He did not know situational football. So now that we have a coach that knows situational football, he's now teaching Dak, and they're going to get into this later in this conference, because Mike's going to talk about all the time that him and Dak have been spending together. But this is why. What do you mean, Jay? He said we didn't though. Didn't what? But this is why it's key to have somebody like Mike McCarthy in Dak Prescott's ear. Oh yeah, he said we didn't even try to run the ball. We didn't. He absolutely could have. He was absolutely he was a sabotager. Like, so many times that we should have easily won games, he sabotaged us by doing foolish things, by not wanting to run the ball, by not wanting to control the clock, by calling option routes when we got a turnover, by doing dumb things that cost us games, that cost us winning our division, that cost us an opportunity to win the number 1 seed. So many times. And so now we have, like I said, Mike McCarthy is a 3rd-generation protege of the great Bill Walsh. So now we have that guy coaching our quarterback. Think about that. Now, because Dak's coach has been Jason Garrett, and then he moved from Jason Garrett as his play caller to Scott Linehan, who was still part of that Air Coryell system, which the Air Coryell system is that vertical. That's all we ever do. Vertical, it's a vertical hook curl route system. That's what we've been running since 2000, since forever. I don't freaking know, but since a long time. That Air Coryell vertical system. When we do West Coast now, we're gonna see, like, where's the drag, and see, those are easy routes for your quarterback to throw. Drag routes, slants. dig routes, simple things, screens, simple things to help out your quarterback, quick, easy reads. Kellen had Dak doing pure progression reads where he's having to go all across the field, then come all the way back. That is not what quarterbacks are doing. They are setting it up to where, okay, well, I have a flood concept. If y'all don't know what a flood concept is, basically like you flood one area of the field, right? So you have all of these routes going to one. So Dak's not having to look from here. Then now I got to look over there. Then now I got to look over there. No. It's that now all of these routes will be going in the same direction. So Dak knows, okay, well, the flat is not open. That's guarded. I can go behind him because he's already in my sight line. So those are things that Mike McCarthy and Brian Schottenheimer are going to be working on to make things simpler for Dak, simplify the game. I always say Kellen had Dak out there doing rocket science. Like, exactly. Easy rhythm throws that get Dak in a groove. Exactly. That's exactly what we need. Kellen had Dak out there doing math problems. That is too much. That is too much to be thinking about. Because y'all know football quarterbacks have to make decisions in like a split second. You're causing my quarterback to think too much. Right? And what did I say? And then on top of that, then we have defensive coordinators that are doing disguise defense. So now my quarterback is not only having to process his own system, but he's also having to hold the ball longer because now he's trying to. That's too much. He only has about 3 seconds to make a decision. But then y'all look at that and y'all say, Dak sucks. He sucks because he threw that pick. Does he suck? Or y'all don't even know what he's been asked to do mentally. So, like, let's think about that. That's why I always say think. No, consider all things before you just make a statement. Okay, let's keep listening.
Rhythm thing, you think you'll be rusty at all? Or I'll tell you, I'm just going to rely on you guys to let me know.
And you see that? See how cannot stand. Well, let me not say I can't stand Clarence Hill, but like I don't like the disrespect that he does toward Mike McCarthy. You don't think he'll be rusty at all? Because it's like you're trying to get at something here, Clarence. Like how many times you gonna tweet out like I don't even know if he can call plays and we're unsure about it. Like that type of stuff really ticks me off. But anyway.
Yeah, exactly. You go through the calls, I'll say, yeah, I wish I had these 4 back. You're like, I know exactly the 4 you're talking about. I was thinking 7, then we'll fight over that, 4 to 7. So
yeah, we thought your play calling was pretty good 12 out of 17 times.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear that.
Mike, Chris Thomas and working on a story relationship Sean Payton in terms of when a coach has won a Super Bowl with one team and he goes to another. What is it like having won a Super Bowl with another team and then you go to another team? Does that even increase expectations? I mean, hey, this guy's won a Super Bowl, he's going to do it for us as well.
I think when I know personally work for the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, a big part of why, I know I pursued the opportunity was because of the expectations. I mean, I just, that's what it's all about. And once you stand on the stage and hold a trophy, nothing else matters. I mean, it's, playoffs are great. It's really a stepping stone to get to where you want. So, yeah, the expectation part of it is, I'm sure will be the same for Sean. I mean, that's, you get to this age and I can't tell you how many people, particularly even in the media, that I haven't seen in a number of years, just because I haven't been to the owner meeting since 2018. Is how fast it's gone. So
one of the biggest fitness myths.
Okay, so they're asking him, basically the difficulty they're talking about Sean Payton. Because both of them are going to 2 different teams and they're basically trying to win a Super Bowl. And it's never been, I don't know if y'all know that, but it's never been done before, guys, where a coach can win a Super Bowl with 2 different teams. So that's, I also want to talk about that because y'all have to know that if Mike McCarthy said, I'm going to take over play calling, like he is doing this, Mike McCarthy came to the Dallas Cowboys to prove his legacy. Because when he left Green Bay, he was sullied and denigrated. He had Aaron Rodgers saying that, basically that he was dumb and all this type of stuff, which Mike McCarthy made Aaron Rodgers. So I don't know why he would open up his mouth and say that, but that just shows you how disrespectful Aaron Rodgers is, because Aaron Rodgers was not Aaron Rodgers before Mike McCarthy got his hands on him. But let's just be honest about that. But anyway, he got ran out of Green Bay town, right? Because they said he wasn't fit, he didn't adjust, he blah, 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 blah. And so you don't take a job to be the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys, because this is like the most high profile franchise in all sports. So you don't take a job like this unless you're trying to show who you are. Mike McCarthy is trying to prove that he's not only a good coach, but he's actually one of the best in this game. Because you see, we have guys like people give who Andy Reid his respect, right? They give Andy Reid his respect. They say Andy Reid is for sure Hall of Fame, right? People give who's also a part of also a Bill Walsh protege. So people give Andy Reid his respect. People give the Sean, even though he's a younger guy, but the Sean McVays, and they give these guys their respect. They give the John Gruden, who's also a protege of Bill Walsh. So they give all of these coaches their respect, but they don't give Mike respect like he didn't win the Super Bowl. And so Mike McCarthy is trying to, and he's already done some things here that have broken the curse, or that have, I say breaking the curse because why we hadn't been to playoffs back to back since I believe the early 2000s. We hadn't won a road playoff game in 30 years. The narratives that when we play in our dark blue jerseys, we can't win. All of these things, Mike McCarthy has come in and he's changed the narrative. So better believe that Mike McCarthy takes this position. Hey, DeMar, nice to see you. Mike McCarthy, glad to see you joining us, DeMar. But Mike McCarthy is going to be coaching for his life this year. Not just his life with the Cowboys, but he's coaching for his legacy. That's what I mean. He's coaching for his legacy this year. So be excited about that. This man is saying that he is eating, sleeping, breathing, calling plays. Do y'all think that Kellen Moore was ever eating, sleeping, thinking, calling plays? No. I'll answer it for you. No, he was not. And we can see it was clear, because there's no way you lose to the same team the same way if you're doing that. Mike McCarthy is taking this so seriously. I think we have to expect great results this year. Be excited about your team this year, guys. Be excited about it. We've already broken the curse. So don't let anybody say, that nonsense. Y'all are an accident waiting to happen. And I know what happened in the Jason Garrett era. I know what happened in the Bill Parcells era. I know what happened in those eras, but those eras aren't this era. Those eras aren't this era. Those coaches aren't Mike McCarthy. Those coaches weren't able to do what Mike McCarthy has done in 3 years. Think about that. Okay, sorry.
And it's all about that opportunity. But yeah, I would think the expectation is clearly, is all about winning a Super Bowl.
Yeah. Why do you think no?
He said expectation is clear. It's all about winning the Super Bowl. Since Mike has come here day one, he said our goal is to win the Super Bowl. He is about winning. And have y'all seen that? Didn't we have 2 back-to-back 12-5 seasons, even with Dak Prescott going down? I know people say J Money, we had a Super Bowl if we had kept Bill Parcells, but and that's another thing. Jerry and Bill left because Jerry and Bill bumping heads. Jerry didn't want to relinquish power. But that's something that's another thing. Your front office has relinquished power to Mike McCarthy. That has not been done since Jimmy Johnson. Your front office has not relinquished power fully to a head coach since Jimmy Johnson. Absolutely. Yeah. Are you talking about if there's another Super Bowl? Yeah, absolutely. Bill Parcells was an amazing coach. And I mean, they had a good, we had a good team then. I mean, absolutely. If Jerry had a fully relinquished his power to to Bill, I think they could have won a Super Bowl, but Jerry didn't want to do it because Jerry was so scarred after Bill that, Jerry has been strangling or holding this franchise so tightly in wanting to control everything, including football decisions. When he's not and that just he says giving up power to Mike. Absolutely, they've given up. They've given up the power. They allowed Mike McCarthy to fire their golden boy. Y'all remember their other golden boy was Jason Garrett. And how long was Jason Garrett our coach, guys? 10 years. Jason Garrett, with his mediocre self, was our coach for 10 years. They did not want to get rid of him. The fact that they let Mike McCarthy fire their golden boy, because remember, it's the exact same situation. Jason Garrett didn't have any experience to call plays. That was just Jerry's and Steven's experiment. That was their golden boy, their guy that they could, Mr. Coach Clapp, that they could get to do anything they asked him to do. Right? That's why they kept him here for so long, because he was the go along, get along guy. He was the company man. He did everything Jerry and Steven told him to do. They relinquished power to Mike McCarthy because Mike McCarthy fought for his power, but not in a disrespectful way. That was another thing. With Mike McCarthy got his power in the most professional way possible, right? He didn't go and drag and sully and denigrate Jerry. That's something that there was an issue between Jerry and Bill, right? Because in Jimmy too, they would disrespect Jerry to no end. That's why Jerry got him out of here, right? But Mike never disrespected Jerry or anything like that. He knew the right words to say and the right moves to make in order to get his power. So yeah, this is the Mike McCarthy show. He done fired the whole staff, put all his people in here. He's not only he's calling plays, guys. Like, it's huge. Like, I knew that once we fired Kellen, I knew that we were on track. And that's too long, Jason Garrett. Yeah. Same thing, Quay. Yeah. 10 years. Way too long. Exactly. Mike said, you install it, you call it. Yeah, he did that to Kellen Moore because he knew if I go in here and I basically and Mike McCarthy did his best to help Kellen. Why y'all think he put him on a run quota? The 30 run attempts per game, because he's trying to help him. But after that San Fran game, Mike knew his decision was Kellen is out, because you can't work like that when somebody completely continues to defy you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't be in a position where me and you are on totally different pages on how this team should be ran. Oh my gosh. So yes, Mike has the power. He has the keys. Jerry and Steven have said, here you go, Mike. And so that's why this year is so huge for us as a franchise. It's huge. And that's why Mike is putting in so much effort. That's why he's saying, I don't sleep. I don't, every waking second I'm thinking about making plays, because he knows that this is the year, and we're making moves to say this is the year that we could win it all. And that he could be the first coach in NFL history to win a Super Bowl with two different teams. All right, let's go.
Coaches ever won a Super Bowl with two different teams. Holmgren did with Green Bay, and then did go to one with Seattle, but nobody's ever done with it too.
It's hard. It's hard. I mean, you had when you win one, you definitely had a culture and a process, and your program was, puts you in that position to win that first one. And I definitely had that in my last experience, but not only to say rebuild it, but to create that in another place, it takes time. It's difficult. So I can see clearly why it's never been done.
You often say it's about the quarterback, that consider how does the change you're making, calling plays, philosophy on offense, protection.
I just want to talk about this comment. Great comment, Joshua, because that is true. When Jason Garrett's job was on the line in 2019, and he knew that was the last year of his contract, he did ask Jerry and Steven if he could call plays. Well, he asked Jerry, and Jerry told him no. And lo and behold, we went 8-8, and Jason Garrett was fired. And I'm with you, DeMar. And honestly, DeMar, I don't know. Maybe Kellen Moore matures. He could. Because, like I said, it's not that Kellen Moore is dumb or anything like that. He just doesn't know situational football. And remember, Kellen Moore doesn't have the security blanket that he had when he was here. See, here he could just keep messing up as long as he wanted to. Well, he thought, because he was Jerry and Steven's guy. Pretty much he was Steven's guy. So he knew, like, I have security. In Chargers land, I tell you one thing, he goes 7-8, he screw up Justin Herbert, and Justin Herbert throws more picks than he ever has, he's gonna be gone so fast. You're gonna see him be an assistant coach in college football. Trust me on that.
Well, I just think, like anything, I mean, you got to be in tune with the climate of the National Football League. I think we all recognize that the defensive line play, I know my time in the league, I think it's at a historical high. And the value that's put into the D-line play as far as from draft and free agency, I mean, that's a priority position, and you've seen the good defensive lines that have a 6-7 man rotation. They're getting it to 8 to 10. So I mean, just look at our division alone. So you have to pay close attention to that. And so with that, from an offense perspective, you got to take a hard look at your protection schemes and things. And we do that every year. So this isn't anything new. But but like I said, we'll be different in some things, but it'll be about protecting him better, because, my goal is for Dak to play 20 games next year. And if he plays 20 games next year, obviously, we'll be right where we want to be.
Pre-snap decisions, does that go pre-snap?
Y'all hear that? He said, our goal is that Dak plays 20 games next year. And I'm so glad that we have a head coach that realizes the value of his quarterback and realizes that my quarterback needs to be protected. This is why Star is team, let's draft an offensive lineman at 26. We gotta protect Dak. Having Dak pass 35 plus attempts per game is not good for him. It is not only not good for him, it's not good for any NFL quarterback. It's not good for your offensive line. If you go back and watch Mike when he breaks it down in his press conferences, this is why you got to listen to Mike when he talks. Listen to Mike when he talks. Don't listen to what the 3 or 4 letter networks are saying. Don't listen to what the fan is saying. Listen to what Mike is saying. He said it's not good for. No, we won't. J Money, I don't think we're going to be reaching for any offensive linemen, because I think premium offensive linemen is going to be there at 26 for sure. Premium offensive linemen will be there. There won't be any guys that we will be reaching for, I don't believe. But specifically, my pick cat is Broderick Jones. I'm gonna put a video out about my pick cats for this draft. But this is why we need to build an offensive line around Dak as he had in 2016. Because let's be honest, Dak's offensive line has regressed every single year. It's regressed. And it's regressed with 2 Hall of Famers on it, and Tyron Smith and Zach Martin. We have to put a better starting five in front of Dak Prescott to keep him clean. But it's not just about their play, it's about the play calling, right? Call plays that benefit your offensive line. Our offensive line is an offensive line that loves to run block, but we got to get better at pass blocking. Because we were 32nd last year or 31st last year in pass block win rate. If you go and I just rewatched our line versus the 49ers for the playoff game, and we were getting destroyed once again. We can't keep getting destroyed. We just can't. We got to give Dak time to make decisions. And see, that's another thing. Kellen had Dak pure progression reading with an offensive line that was 32nd in pass block win rate. Like, if that doesn't say that a coach doesn't know his team, I don't know what else to tell you. Like, Kellen just did not know this team at all. He didn't know what made his team go, what made his team not go. He just calling whatever the heck he wanted to call when he wanted to call it and expected perfect execution to be made. And that just can't happen. You guys give me a second. I'm gonna charge my laptop so I don't get disconnected from you lovely people. Give me a second. Here, I'll play some background. One second. Okay, I'm back, guys. Sorry about that. Had to take a commercial break. Been on here with you guys for a while, but we're almost done with the interview. We got about like 6 minutes, so let's get it. Let's keep listening.
Responsibilities of a quarterback. It seems like a small thing to talk about. It's hard to quantify on the outside. Is that sort of thing as well? I mean, just give them less, or is that even possible? Like the game's played.
I mean, it's an easy game. If you want your guys to play faster, give them less responsibility. So, and that's where that's where the secret sauce is in putting together a good offensive system is the ability to be multiple, to have the variations to protect your core concepts, make sure the balls get distributed to your perimeter players, make sure you're giving guys the opportunities that fit their skill set. And with that, it makes it easier and cleaner for the quarterback. So, when you get into the game and you have a receiver that makes $100 million, and you have to get them.
I was doing laundry and I felt.
Sorry, guys, you know how it goes, but we always gotta go through our little commercials here. But we'll be back up in 3, 2, 1. All right. Uh-oh.
Targets or 15 targets. I mean, that's difficult. I went through with Aaron in Green Bay. I mean, just he throws it to the open receiver, and our perimeter players will understand that we'll create their opportunities, but everybody's got to do their job, and he can't be in a game worried about trying to get a guy the ball. That's my job. That's the coach's job. So, and I think with that, and it's human nature. It happens all the time. It's a guy's frustrated. He needs the ball, and everybody's personality is a little different. So, these are all common challenges that you go through all the time, and we just want to be better. We just want to take another step.
What does this offseason look like with Dak in your relationship? How much more time?
And so, if y'all heard that, he said, "We can't be worried. I can't have my quarterback worried about trying to distribute the ball. That's the offensive coordinator's job, right?" And so I want y'all to think about that, because remember after the 49ers game, they were saying, "Oh, Dak, T.Y. Hilton seemed to be open and Dak didn't target him and da 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 da." That is not Dak's job to say, "Oh, T.Y.'s not getting enough targets. Let me start targeting him." That's not Dak's job. That's what I want y'all to realize. And I'm glad Mike said it to let y'all know. That is the job of the offensive coordinator. Who gets the ball, how much, when. Dak's job is to make the right reads and to get the ball to who the offensive coordinator says, or the play caller says, to get the ball to. Okay? And you could also see this year, Dak was worried about, because remember last year after the playoff game, he got crucified. Why? Because they said, remember what Troy Aikman said? "Oh, if it was me, Michael Irvin would have had the ball X amount of times in the first half, the way San Fran was playing, if it was me," And it's like, yeah, Troy, but your coordinator would have also made sure that these people were getting their targets. It wouldn't have been you trying to force the ball to guys in which the coordinator is saying don't, or the play caller is saying don't target or target this guy. Y'all have to realize this is a whole system. That's why we call it's an offensive system. It's an offensive scheme that the quarterback has to work within. So yes, sometimes they can deviate from it, but not all the time. And you saw this year too many. Y'all say, "Well, why is Dak forcing the ball to CD? He's never been that type of guy." You don't think that got to Dak when everybody was saying how you don't think that it got to Dak when everybody was saying how he didn't target his number one wide receivers and all this stuff? So he was trying to make sure that CD got his targets, sometimes to a fault. You could see it in the Tampa Bay Bucks game. It was a lot of Dak trying to force the ball to CD, and they were just bracketing CD. You see those types of things where you're not making life easier for your quarterback? Like, exactly. Let's bring this comment up by Josmo. We're terrible in pass pro, and when Dak was looking frantic, Kellen never helped him. He just left him out there to dry. That's why it's like, it almost seems like, okay, well, if Dak is not in rhythm, or if Dak can't get in the rhythm, we're just screwed that day, because Kellen Moore's not going to help him. But now we have an offensive coordinator. We have a play caller that realizes it's my job to help my quarterback, not the other way around. It's not your quarterback's job to make you look good as a coach. It's your job to coach the player and have the player execute what you are coaching him to do. Exactly, says, well, Ty, yeah, he told Dak that he was open, right? That was on that play where Zach Martin. That was that play that Zach Martin missed the blitz, and Dak had about less than a second to even think, and threw the ball to CD Lamb covered by Fred Warner, in which CD couldn't get any separation from Fred Warner. And that's just sad. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you're number one wide receiver, and I get it, Fred Warner is the best what's his name? Best linebacker in football. But when your number one wide receiver can't beat a linebacker, that's not good. And that just means that that just shows that, like, CD Lamb is just he is not a burner. That's why now Brandon Cooks lined up versus Fred Warner. That's a different story. There will be clear separation. Clear. Right? But with CD Lamb and Fred Warner, Dak thought that was a better matchup. And he's trying to get his guy going, right? Because CD Lamb is Dak's guy. That's his number one wide receiver. So he's trying to get his number one wide receiver targets to have him get turned up to try to change the dynamic of the game, right? He said Fred bailed out. Yeah, I guess so. But I mean, still wasn't able to get separation. But at the same time, yeah, I mean, you can't just like you can't even fault him, for throwing to his best wide receiver. Like, he was trying to get the ball to his best wide receiver. But yes, was T.Y. Hilton open on the opposite side down the vertical route? Yeah, he was. But as I said, the blitz came in. No offensive lineman picked up the blitz. So Dak wasn't able to have any time to say, okay, CeeDee Lamb's covered. Oh, but look, T.Y. Hilton's wide open. Yeah, yeah. It was sad. It was terrible. Like, the defense played lights out. Played lights out in that game. I just rewatched it again. They played lights out in that game. Lights out. And it was just disappointing to see that our offense just could not show up. But I had been saying all year, if we weren't going to make it past the divisional, it was going to be because of Kellen Moore. And that's exactly what happened. And it's not taking away from Dak Prescott's interceptions and the mistakes that he made. But again, we see that it's the offensive coordinator, it's the player caller's job to control the flow of the game, not Dak Prescott. And you can watch Fred Warner break down the game. You can watch David Carr break down the game. You can watch JT Sullivan, who does the QB school, break down the game. Kellen Moore had zero help for Dak Prescott. That's what we're saying, that Dak Prescott under Kellen Moore's system was called to be the guy, the Superman, every single game. And that is not what you want your quarterback to do. You want your quarterback to pretty much be on autopilot until the playoffs. And depending on the control and the flow of the game, then your quarterback has to do what he's got to do. But to literally be making your quarterback be the guy, be the it guy every single game is just a recipe for disaster. And that's not something that any of these quarterbacks that y'all say are better than Dak, that's not what they're asked to do. They're not asked to be Superman every single game. Talking about
I would say we
Dak's
spent
interceptions.
a lot more time together, but that's what's in front of us. We're still
together.
We're still kind of wrapping things up. We feel good about where the run game is right now. We still have some things in protection that we're trying to get cleaned up, and really before I came down here, we were fully into the pass concept. So we have them all on the board, but it's time to now trim them down, and so we'll bring him in for part of that. I know him and Brian and Scott have that those three have been talking on a regular basis.
Scott is Scott Tolzien, which is the quarterback coach. If y'all don't know who that is.
So it's a very fluid, situation right now. But we haven't locked it in yet exactly what we're going to do.
Yeah, gone over all the picks and stuff like that, and decisions on that. Yeah, the interception. Have y'all gone over that?
Yeah, definitely. We spent some time. He was in for whatever day he was in there for. So then he came up and he's in there for the captain's workout. So he came up and spent about 4 hours with Scott and I, and we went back and looked at the decision making opportunities and of interceptions and potential interceptions, and just talking through. And it's healthy because no different. I mean, I thought Doug did an excellent job with the quarterbacks, but the room will be different. I mean, it's just anytime you have a new coach in there, and it'll be Scott's new opportunity too. But Brian and I will be in there pretty much full time. So getting that that landscape laid too. So we just it's pretty fluid.
Speaking of Aaron, in your busy day.
So did y'all hear what they said? So Mike says, because they asked him, well, have you been spending time with Dak Prescott? Just getting closer. I mean, obviously you're going to be his play caller, and the play caller and the quarterback have to be pretty much like one-on-one in sync. And Michael saying, yes, we have spent a lot of time together, and we've been going over the running game. We've got that nailed down. So now we're on to the passing game, and how they have spent time going over his interceptions, but not only the interceptions that actually occurred, but the potential interceptions. So once again, having Mike McCarthy call plays is huge for Dak Prescott. Huge for Dak Prescott. Because as I've said before, Dak Prescott's head coach for majority of his career was Jason Garrett. This was a guy who was just given the position. He didn't have the tenure. Like Mike had tenure before he became a head coach. Jason Garrett didn't have tenure. He was an ex-quarterback. He was literally a backup, right? Remember, Jason Garrett was a backup coach. Then he moved to quarterbacks coach, I think. And then after that, he literally moved to play caller head coach. He had no skins on the wall before he became a head coach. None. Right? Kellen Moore had no skins on the wall before he became a offensive coordinator. He literally was a backup, just like Jason Garrett, then became the quarterbacks coach, and then became the play caller. No tenure at all. So Dak, now there's just certain knowledge that Dak did not or does not have that Mike McCarthy is now giving to him. Right? And then on top of that, like knowledge about the West Coast, about the history of this sport. Do y'all realize that? That's something that Jason Garrett and Kellen Moore couldn't give Dak because they don't have that knowledge. So now Dak gets to work with a guy who has years in history in this game. Right? Coached by the forefathers of this game. Like that is huge for your quarterback because if you guys know Dak, when people ask, has Dak peaked? Dak has peaked in the sense of he's as far as he can take himself. Because to be honest, guys, Dak has been taking himself to these levels that he's gone to. With his personal, trainers and coaches, they're like 3D QB school, all that stuff. Like Dak has peaked at the level that he can take him to. If there is a next level for Dak Prescott to unlock, which the next level that people are looking from Dak Prescott is consistency, right? If there's a next level of consistency, consistent, great QB play, because we've seen Dak Prescott have amazing games. We've seen him. We've seen greatness on Dak Prescott. We've seen clutch from Dak Prescott. The issue with Dak Prescott has been his consistency, right? But if you know the offensive system, then it would explain to you the inconsistencies. But now we have a coach that is going to be able to If, like I said, if there's a next level for Dak Prescott to unlock, it will be unlocked with Mike McCarthy. And Dak also is now getting that chastisement, because how many times have you seen, Dak be in his head or he makes a mistake and then he just goes and sits down. No one's talking to him, no coaches. Everybody's just acting, he doesn't have anybody there. He doesn't have a coach in his ear telling him, hey, look at this, see this, you missed this, you did that, because that's what makes you better. That's what a coach does. A coach is not a yes man. That's why I didn't like Doug Nussmeier, because Doug Nussmeier, every time he talked about, which was Dak's QB coach last year, every time Nussmeier talked about Dak, it was like he was enamored with him. That's not a coach. A coach is not supposed to be enamored with their players. Like, it's supposed to be the other way around. So it just further shows that, like, this is just a huge year for us in our organization. And yes, Kidna did help Dak. Kidna helped Dak a lot. That's where you saw Dak, I believe, in 2019, where he took a major leap forward passing wise, right? He took a major leap forward. But of course, when Mike came, he got rid of Kidna just because he wanted to put his own guys in. But even with that, if there's another level of knowledge to make that's going to get Dak in that elite category, because you see, elite quarterbacks, when y'all say, is he elite? Elite quarterback, it's not about arm talent that makes you elite. That's y'all's problem. And when I say y'all, I'm talking about the general population. I'm not accusing y'all, my people here in the live chat. But that's the problem. Y'all think because I can make a circus throw that I'm an elite quarterback. That I can throw it this far, or I can do this. Oh, that makes him elite. No. What makes you elite is your mind. It's not about having the greatest or the biggest arm. It's about knowing the game inside and out and using that knowledge to win games. If you look at somebody like Aaron Rodgers and a Tom Brady, they are so in tune with the entire game. Right? That's why you'll see them, if it's too many men on the field, they'll rush to the line because they know they can get a free play. It's a mental, football is a mental game. It's a mental game. I'm not throwing shots. Sam, I throw J Money. Sam, I throw shots. I mean, I guess if the shoe fits, wear it. You know what I'm saying? If that's you who thinks that a quarterback is elite because he can throw a ball this way and that way, it's just ridiculous. Like, that's not what makes a quarterback elite. It's a quarterback position is a cerebral position. The arm strength and the escapability and all of those other things, those are, athletic attributes. But again, because you look at somebody like Tom Brady. Was Tom Brady an athlete? No. No, he was not an athlete. They were saying, like, what Tom Brady, like, did not even have. If y'all go and look at Tom Brady at the combine, how they was talking about him, it was like, this guy's a bum. Like, there was nothing athletic at all about Tom Brady. But yet, the guy has how many Super Bowl rings? 7, 8? Like, it's about leadership. It's about mental processing. It's about the love and the understanding of the game. It's not about cool trick throws. It's just not about that. Is that cool? Yeah. Is it cool when Justin Herbert throws a cool spiral ball or whatever? I don't. When I be looking at these throws, I'd be like, I mean, y'all talk about it like it's just amazing. Like, God, I wish my quarterback could make that throw. It's just like, but why? Like, what? The quarterback that you have in college as a draft prospect, literally, the scouts were saying Dak Prescott had the arm to make all the throws. Like, Quetta says, Brady's over his brain screaming cheating. Oh man, that's a little bit shade on TB12 there, but regardless, regret if cheating and not cheating, whatever. Tom Brady's got more rings than any quarterback probably will ever have again. That's just the bottom line. But let's push through this interview, guys. I'm probably just going to let it play through because it looks like we probably just got like 4 minutes, and then I'll just comment on the rest, and then we will wrap this thing up because I've been live with y'all for 2 hours, and I'm grateful to be here with you guys because it's exciting, and I had to build some planes while I was in the air, and I promise the next time we're going to have better production. We're going to have things how they should be. I promise, guys. But thank you guys for rocking with me. I hope that you guys can like and share this video. Please help me, guys, so that I can build my channel and just get my thoughts, get more thoughts out there to help the nation win 6. Well, let's push through the last bit of this interview or a press conference.
How much awareness do you have of that thing, that drama, that situation?
I mean, I'm definitely aware of it, but I think just like anything, when when it comes down to the business, component of it, that's really what it is. So I probably know as much as you do.
Feel like I'm losing control for 30 years.
We gotta pause it and let the commercials play. Next time, guys, I'm just gonna download the clip so that we don't have to deal with these stupid commercials. But this is an amateur move. I apologize.
Yeah, exactly.
You mentioned that football's a simple game, and the less you give the players, the faster they'll play. Do you expect to simplify some things for the offense?
Yeah, well, let me say it again. I don't want to say less. I mean, I think
There's less responsibility.
yeah, because you can have a pass play. I mean, we all have similar plays. We all have similar scheme, but how you're coaching that scheme and where you utilize it, which defenses you anticipated going against, how do you react when the defense is maybe slanted, in their favor? So how much, if were we 70% checking plays at the line of scrimmage and we go back to 55, so that's a 15%, increase of less responsibility. So it's those types. So it's not like, it was wrong before. So please don't twist anything, because it's how we're going to utilize the plays moving forward. So, I mean, you watch concepts throughout the whole league, and there's a lot of similarities, but how the specifics of how they're being coached, that's the difference. When you use them, which situation you use them, that's slightly different. So those are the things I'm talking about.
We hear so much about putting scheme to personnel versus personnel to scheme. How different is your vision for an offense, Jack versus Aaron, given how they're pretty different quarterbacks?
I'm not even sure what you're asking. You talking about our offense?
Yeah. And when you think about how you want to call it, you're saying the idea is to have those plays that by the time they get to the line of scrimmage, it's what you want, what your rules say. How different is what that is?
Well, number one, you have to play at the line of scrimmage. I mean, there's the defenses today. I mean, just look at first and second down today. You're seeing more defensive fronts than you ever had in the history of football. I mean, it's never been that many variations. They've made first and second down a real challenge. First and second down used to be clear. So when you look at a defensive coordinator, you could, when the first analytics report comes out, you can see where he spends his time. Does he spend a lot of time in red zones? Does he spend more time in third down because of the variations and the multiple schemes? First and second down has significantly increased the last 3 or 4 years, probably 3 to 5 years. So that it's those kind of things. My point is, you have to have audibles and at the line of scrimmage opportunities for your quarterback, and it's the first thing we do. I mean, we start with 2-minute offense and things like that because you have to have that versatility, because that's the most important situation, because you're going to have 10 games a year come down to the 2-minute, and that training is, you can't have enough of it. So I mean, so that part will never change. It's just how we do it, when we do it, it's just going to be a little different.
You talked about protection Tyron Smith coming back and just where Terrence Hill is in his return, and how you envision his good team.
Yeah, we've been talking about that, and it's hey, get your your 5 most veterans on the field at the same time. I mean, that's a very fair outlook, but how you train those positions, because you definitely 17 games it's a long year, and we haven't had, the 5 linemen with consecutive starts. My time here, you have to pay attention to those statistics. They're real. We've lived that. We've lived that the last 3 years. So with that, we need to train that way. So we're going to have position flex with some of our players. Some of our young guys need to take the next big step, and I think they definitely will with Lasco and Ball. And so I think Matt Farniak's in there every day. So these young guys need to elevate, and hopefully we'll continue to add to that room too. So position flex will be important because ideally I'd love to line up. I mean, I tell you this all the time because you look at the statistics of an offensive line that has consecutive starts, it directly equates to winning football games. I mean, I think Philadelphia had the highest 5-man start this year if my numbers are correct. So that's important, but that hasn't been the case for us, which is fine. But so we need to train that way.
All right, guys. So that brings us to the conclusion. I think Mike just wrapped it up at the end and just said that basically we already talked about this earlier in the show. Y'all can go back and watch those who joined late, but about cross training and how important it is to Mike that we cross train our offensive linemen. And then I think he. Oh, and then I think Jory Epstein had asked my question about, how much control does, Dak will still have at the line of scrimmage. And he's saying, of course, he's still going to have control because you still got to be able to audible and, do all those things. Guys, what would be yeah, if you guys, actually, I will stay on here for a couple more minutes, answer some questions if you guys got it. Josh Mo, thank you so much. Yes, I did receive your Cash App. Thank you so very much. I really appreciate it. Everybody who's donated, I really appreciate it. This is funny. I missed this, but exactly. All those elite throws, still throwing nails. I mean, still catching nails. Jay Money, you said what would be my best 5 of the O line? It would be Terrence Steele, right tackle, Zach Martin, right guard, Tyler Biotis, center. Even though I would like to get nastier at center, guys. Just to be honest, I like Tyler Biotis a lot, and he did have a better year than he, of course, had in 2021. But Tyler Biotis, I just don't. Even though he's refined his technique, um, and he's also gained weight. I just don't think that he's nasty enough. And I would like a mean center, that bullies because I mean, this is a guy that has his hands on the ball more than anybody. And I would just like somebody that'll be more dominant at that position. Tyler Biadasz, like I said, he's good. I know he made the Pro Bowl as an alternate. I'm not taking anything away from him, but I do think we could upgrade there. But that's what we've got for now. So Tyler Biadasz, left guard. Left guard, it would have to be for the personnel we got right now. Left guard, Tyler Smith. Left tackle, Tyron Smith. That would be the best 5. But of course, we know Tyron's not going to hold up. So that's why we really got to get another offensive lineman. Because the guys that we have right now, like the Walescos and the Balls, those to me are more swing guys and not starters. And so we have to bring somebody in here that is a nasty left tackle. My pet cat is Broderick Jones from Georgia. The guy's an animal and an athletic freak. And I think, that's for sure a day 1 starter. You can also bring in guys like Anton Harrison, even though I think Anton might be a right tackle. I have to go check my notes. But let me see. Because, who could take over that? I'm going to have to look at my draft prospect notes to see who could be good at that left tackle position. Because, let's see here. Okay, guys like a Peter Skoronsky, which I'm not super high on Peter, but he obviously is the best technician in the draft, but he won't be there. Paris Johnson from Ohio State. I don't think he'll be there at 26, but I would love to get him. Broderick Jones. Matthew Bergeron. I'm not interested in getting him at 26, but I mean, for a depth piece, we could get him later in the draft. But I think those are pretty much our left tackles. Cody Mouch from North Dakota State. I think it's also pretty good. Anton Harrison from Oklahoma. So like those are guys that we could bring in now that would be in our starting lineup who are mean, nasty, and powerful. Because the thing that I'm tired of seeing with our offensive line is us just getting beat because we're just not strong enough. We're not nasty enough. Like that's just the bottom line. Like you look at, I hate to give Philly props, but if you look at Philly's offensive line, like those guys are nasty. I mean, they just railroad people out of the way. I mean, it's like the freaking Red Sea for the running backs for Jalen Hurts. They're part in the Red Sea back there, and our guys just don't have the power, and that's including Zach Martin. Even though Zach Martin is still a top three guard, like he's lost some of his power ability. So like we need some really strong guys that can anchor down and that can push guys off the ball, like guys like Steele. That's what we need. Guys like Steele, guys like Tyler Smith. These are guys that are nasty, that want to maul you, that want to fall on you every play, that want to literally pancake you and push you out of the screen every single play. And that's what I'm looking for with my offensive line. Joshua says, should we double dip at O line, get a tackle in the first, and grab a center? Yeah, I would. I think we should go ahead and get a tackle in the first. If one of our premium tackles are there, go ahead and get them. And then we can also pick up depth. We usually draft two offensive linemen. We used to have like draft two or three. Since Mike McCarthy's been here, I think we've drafted like two or three offensive linemen every draft. So I think we're definitely going to get another, even if, obviously because we drafted Tyler Smith, and then who else did we get? Well, let's go. Right. Because we drafted Well, let's go. So, and then the year before that, we might have just got one because I think we just had Josh Ball in 2021 draft. Yeah, because that was our defensive draft. We had to go defense because our defense was so terrible in 2020. But absolutely, guys, let me share these things with you before we go. Please follow me on Instagram at Stargazer underscore sports. Follow me there, guys. I just started my Instagram channel, but I'm gonna be obviously, probably will make some shorts on there. Put out content, make reposts so that you get all the Dallas Cowboys news from other content creators and sports news Instagram pages. Follow me on YouTube, guys, at Stargazer Sports. Please follow me. Help me build up my platform. This was so fun, and I would love to do this for years to come. And just you guys already have made me feel so loved and welcomed into the community. So I'm very happy about that. So please follow me on YouTube and share my channel so that I can so more people can hear the voice of Star. You can find me on Facebook at Stargazer Sports Media. Find me on Twitter at the Stargazer. Had to spell it weird because regular Stargazer was already taken. And as I said, please like, share, and subscribe the content, guys, because that's the only way that this channel will ever grow. And the only way that we can get the fundsy production and all that type of stuff that I'm sure you guys are used to seeing on other content creators. But as I said, this is my first show, so we're still working on it, but we're going to get it. We're going to get better and better and better, guys. I promise you. And now this is my first live. I'm going to keep going live. Keep going live, keep putting my content out. I got some videos that I'm working on that I'm going to be putting out pretty soon. And then let me answer this last question. DeMar says, do I think we will cut Kelvin Joseph? I think if Kelvin doesn't show up, and I mean like show up in training camp, he will be cut. Because I think the Dallas Cowboys are like this close to getting rid of him. But I think, he's going to his third year. He did have that off the field issue that probably affected his play. I honestly think we should probably try Kelvin Joseph at free safety because I don't like Malik Hooker at free safety. That's another position of need that I think we need because Malik Hooker is just not a free safety anymore. He just does not have that lateral side to side line speed. And a lot of times when we saw guys like Kelvin Joseph and Anthony Brown get burned, he was supposed to be over there. But he's always got his eyes in the backfield and he doesn't have the recovery speed anymore. He just does not have that. So I definitely think we need to try Kelvin Joseph because I mean Kelvin Joseph is a 4-3 speed guy and he loves to hit. And I mean when I see those types of things, when I see you got lateral movement, you like to be physical, I think safety. So I think and he has played some safety before, I think, in college. So I think we need to give him a try. But he is going to be playing for his life in training camp. So if he doesn't show up this off season, and if he has any more off the field issues, he's gonna be gone. I do believe that firmly. Because like I said, the Dallas Cowboys they're gonna give you chances, but we've seen now if you keep doing stuff that they don't mess with, like a Lyle Collins, like a Amari Cooper, you're gonna be gone. He says IQ's not there for safety. Well, I mean, we'll see. That's why I said try him out at the position. Try him out and see how he does. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he sucks, you know? But all I think is that at corner, he's just got that discipline, that eye discipline, because he got beat on those double moves in the Jags game. He's got to get that worked on. But honestly, that's the entire cornerback room had issues with that. And that's on Al Harris. When your whole cornerback room has an issue, or when your whole group has an issue, that's on your coach. That's not just a player issue, that's a coaching issue. So I do think Al Harris too needs to step up. He needs to step up. I agree he's a good coach. I know Trayvon Diggs loves him. I'm not knocking that, but I'm just saying he's got to do better because the DB room's got to be better this year. They got to be better, period. Because that second half of the season they just didn't look good. They didn't look too good. And I attribute, guys like Bland and stuff like that, like those are the capabilities that Bland had before coming. That's why we got him. The ball skills, the physicality, and all that type of stuff. But I'm not saying, please don't take this as me talking down on Al Harris. I do think Al Harris is a good coach, and I do think we have a good cornerback room. I just would like to see him do more. I would like to see him coach up our guys a little bit better this season. So hopefully he does that. I know he's a Mike McCarthy guy, so hopefully we see some improvement from him. But anyway, thank you guys so much. I will be live on Cole's Cowboys show later today. I think it's 7 Eastern. So if you guys could hop on there with us, I'll be going live on all my platforms again. So, but please like and share the content. Love and thank you guys so much. And see you guys later. Bye bye.